I'm Mike Uyak. I love to try new things, and I've had culinary adventures all around the world, as well as right at home. I've had really wonderful food, as well as some really horrible food. I'd like to share some of my adventures with you, and we'll see if I have what it takes to fix whatever goes wrong. This is Recipe Redemption. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the channel. I'm feeling a little down. Yesterday afternoon, this is my weekend. Yesterday afternoon, I got my booster and the first of my shingles shots, both of which have the potential side effect of just knocking you the F out. I'm not fatigue tired. I'm not like, have no energy, but everything aches. Every joint plus my head aches, and that is exhausting all by itself. So pardon me if I'm not exactly chipper this morning, but still need to eat breakfast. And so I thought that it might actually be a good time to do this recipe. Now, if we deconstruct the egg and liverwurst on toast, you have a starch, you have toast, you have spinach, cooked spinach, liverwurst, just briefly dunked in flour and pan fried, fairly simple. Eggs and Russian dressing. It's really throwing me for a loop, but okay. So egg, meat, bread, spinach, sauce. That says Eggs Benedict to me. Except instead of an English muffin, you've got toast. Okay. The sort of Americanized version of Eggs Benedict. Instead of Canadian bacon, you have pan-fried liverwurst or Braunschweiger, if that's what you can get. I like liverwurst. I know it's not everybody's cup of tea, but I like it. We'll see in this application. Eggs are eggs. And then the Russian dressing is really throwing me. So Russian dressing, I don't know how many of you have even had it. I haven't seen it on the shelves in the grocery store in a long time. Apparently they still make it. Like some of the big manufacturers like Kraft still do make Russian dressing, but I haven't seen anybody actually sell it. So I don't know. But it's kind of like Thousand Island, but instead it has a base of mayonnaise and ketchup. And then Thousand Island typically has like a relish to it, either sweet or dill pickle relish, depending on how piquant you want it. Russian dressing goes in a different direction. Instead of sort of the chunkiness of the relish, it has a little bit of horseradish in it. So in some ways, it's a little bit closer to cocktail sauce than it is to a salad dressing. But it's fine. There's just a little bit, just to give it that little bit of bite without it being, cocktail sauce. So, might be okay. I don't know. So, here's how I made it. Okay, pan with some oil. Just dusted my slice of liverwurst with some flour and fry until brown on both sides. Once that's done, I have my slice of toast, some cooked spinach. I just microwaved some frozen spinach. That's good enough. And I'm taking the step of actually seasoning the spinach because it's going to be kind of bland otherwise. And place my slice of liverwurst on top of that. And then with the leftover drippings, fry an egg. Place that on top. And lest we forget, the Russian dressing drizzle, or if that's not entirely possible, ladle your Russian dressing on top. I made mine kind of thick. All right. The egg should be, yep, there we go. A good eased over egg, the way I like it. Get a little bit of everything here. Egg, liverwurst, spinach, toast, and Russian dressing. Here we go. Honestly, the liverwurst gets kind of lost. There's a little bit of an aftertaste because it is fairly fatty. That flavor sort of sticks with you after all the others are gone. So you end up with this sort of little bit of minerality, that sort of mineral taste of organ meats. Oh, meow. Yes, I know. I'm filming. Go away. So, but the Russian dressing really does cover it with the sweetness and the acidity of the ketchup. The little bite of the he's so demanding. The little bite of the horseradish is, almost non-existent. I made my own Russian dressing because, of course, I wasn't able to find any. So this is my own formulation. Your experience may vary. But like I said, the liverwurst kind of gets lost in this under all that Russian dressing. The toast being particularly crisp, it's a different experience from your typical English muffin that you have under your Eggs Benedict. Tends to be a little bit sort of softer and chewier rather than crunchy. So because I'm getting the corners of the toast, those sort of crunchy angles, and I guess I could take smaller bites, but what's the fun in that? But those corners are getting kind of, they're a little pokey. Mm. Yeah, egg sort of disappears, liverwurst kind of disappears, the spinach disappears. All I taste is the Russian dressing. I kind of suspected that's what was going to happen. So I made a small batch of Hollandaise. I made a second serving with Hollandaise. Everything else is the same except Hollandaise instead of the Russian dressing. Let's see if we pull this back towards the Eggs Benedict, if it gets any better. A little bit. I made the Hollandaise a little bit more subtle than the Russian dressing. It's still the lemon and the richness of the butter really it still overpowers everything else. So the reason I did this, other than just from the fact that I was hungry, is it occurred to me that I really do need to start doing more of these recipes that I don't know if I can redeem. I can't think of anything other than if it is a riff on an established dish like this one is, the redemption is simply doing the original dish because the original is still better. Or if it is a unique original recipe, I just don't know where to take it because it's just horrible on more dimensions than I can handle at once. Flavor, texture, aroma, appearance. um, etc. So it still is instructive to go ahead and cook these dishes, find out if they are indeed horrible, and turn it over to you. What do you think? What can be done with this to make it better? Myself, liverwurst belongs in sandwiches to me. That's what I've always had with liverwurst sandwiches. Um, and this is essentially, I believe the recipe actually refers to this as a hearty open-faced sandwich. Um, so a liverwurst sandwich with a fried egg on it, and sure, the spinach that goes from eggs Benedict to eggs Benedict Florentine, with the addition of spinach. You could have a sandwich with maybe some fresh spinach or some other fresh greens, um, liverwurst, fried egg, I guess, and a lightly toasted bread. Um, so you don't get quite this um, abrasion, dermabrasion of the roof of your mouth. Um, might be a more pleasant eating experience at least, and might actually be, in some ways, a better flavor. Um, maybe a little bit of raw onion. I don't know. What do you think? What would actually improve this recipe? Or is it irredeemable and we just need to go back to making um, good old fashioned Eggs Benedict and leave this in the past? Let me know in the comments. Let me know what you think. And I'd like to thank you for watching. And I'll see you next time when I have more energy. Bye now.